Richard Brown. I'm a horticultural therapist for South West Yorkshire NHS Foundation Trust, and I travelled to the USA and Canada to study horticultural therapy as an appropriate medical treatment in 2013. Horticultural therapy in the UK has often been seen as behind North America in terms of its appropriate medical treatment and medical use of horticultural therapy. So the aim of the project was to go and visit and compare how the UK has developed with Canada and America. I first encountered the Churchill Trust through our Friday newsletter at the NHS organisation because a previous fellow, Dr. Richard Coton, who works for the Trust, who is a dance therapist, he'd done a fellowship, I believe, in 2010. So I saw the advertisement on our Friday newsletter, and at first I thought it might be something that we could get some funding for our therapy garden, maybe a new polytunnel or something like that. And then when I saw that it was about a travelling fellowship, the idea instantly struck me of visiting sort of North America and seeing how if they have actually developed in front of us in terms of horticultural therapy. When I went on my fellowship, initially I wanted to visit Chicago Botanic Garden because they have a world-acclaimed enabling garden, which is a garden where it's accessible for everybody regardless of ability and disability. That was the starting place, and I also wanted to visit a town in Canada called Guelph, which has the first official horticultural therapy practice. They're a mental health organisation called Homewood. So those were my starting points. I arranged a visit to Homewood, and when I got there, they wouldn't let me in, which was a bit of a curveball really, but it allowed me to spend time and see the other projects that were there. And I think that's sort of the part of the travel really, that it doesn't always go as you think it will, and it's about adapting to that. What I've achieved personally from the Churchill Fellowship is that I've become more confident in my own practice, first and foremost, and that's important in terms of horticultural therapy because it's such an isolated profession at the moment. You're not in frequent contact with other horticultural therapists, so you don't get that peer support. So being able to experience what other people are doing and realise that your practice is actually up there with some of the other people out there, and picking up information from them and skills and activities from them and developing your own practice has led me to be more confident about that in terms of delivering sessions with the service users that I work with, but also in terms of going to meetings and meeting other people and meeting different professions and being able to push horticultural therapy as an appropriate medical treatment. Horticultural therapy is more than just a nice bit of gardening, as in that we trained professionals who understand not only horticulture but also the client group that we're working with, and being able to adapt those activities to meet their needs. And through being able to do the Churchill Fellowship and the subsequent report from that's raised the profile of horticultural therapy as an appropriate medical treatment. I would say to anybody thinking of applying for a Churchill Fellowship that if you're knowledgeable and passionate about a specific topic, then it's such an open organisation to be involved in that they'll take on any topic that will benefit you and be able to develop that knowledge and that skills base to then bring back and share to other people. I think Churchill is still relevant for us all today because it affects the society that we live in, and the decisions that were made during Churchill's time and the things that he carried out in his life have changed the way that society is and the way that we currently live. And those values that Churchill had and about travelling, about gaining experiences and knowledge and bringing those back to benefit the people in the UK are still as evident now as they were back then. Arguably even more so because of how small the world is, how easy it is to travel these days, and how easy it is to share that information and be in contact with those different people through social media, etc.